Start you in a few moments. Hello. Oh, so good to see you.
Your friend here tonight, I see.
He's a little...
You sit down. What is wrong with you people? Oh, come this way. You know my friend?
Come,
Look
sit. Enjoy. It's a free seminar. Oh, thank you. Hello. Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to recognize some of our esteemed colleagues in our Witch Hunters Union, all the way from Italy, with 37,000 witches burned. Witch Hunters Union 224. And from Bamberg, Germany, with 67,000 witches burned. Witch Hunters Union 331.
Oh, ladies, you're doing a beautiful job. That beautiful woman. All these two here, of course.
All the way from England, merry old England, of course, with 27,000 witches burned and executed, of course. Witch Hunters Union 774. And from the New World,
My favorite.
with 62 witches hunted and executed in its first week.
Very good.
From Salem, Massachusetts, Witch Hunters Union 121.
Oh, very nice. Let's go.
5, 4, 3.
If you are looking for a way to have it all, then you just sit right down on Tracer's come to town. He is a man who knows how to make witchcraft grow. Just follow in the words of Montracer. He is a man who knows how to make witchcraft grow. And if you follow him, now it is not the sensation that little priest let's get. Find the witches in the world. We're gonna burn those witches, gonna find those witches, gonna string up those witches, gonna kill the witches, gonna
Here he is, the man who will solve all our financial woes, Montracer. A man in only 10 years managed to rid our God-fearing and pure world of 100,000 subversive, evil-spreading companions of Satan. A man who will become so rich beyond our years that it will astound the mind. Of course it will astound the mind. Wonderful. Here he is, Mr. Keep Your Hands Clean and Your Pockets Full, Montracer.
Thank you all ever so much. First of all, I want you all to realize that I would not be here before you this evening were it not for the completely paranoid and ridiculously irrational nature of the most influential men in the world. Special thanks must go then to Pope Innocent III, John Baudin, author of Demonology, and Henry Boget, author of Discourse on Sorcery. And of course, extra special thanks to Jacob Sprenger and Friar Henrik Kramer for their profit-making book, the book no witch hunter can do without, The Malleus Maleficarum.
On sale now for only $49.95. No, not $79.95. No, not $59.95, but $49.95. Act now and receive a free portrait of Montracer himself. Hurry while supplies last.
All of you are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get rich through witch hunting!
Get rich!
Hunt witches!
Get rich!
Hunt witches!
Topics of discussion will include
Education.
Generating a proper environment
Targeting your victims.
and manipulating the ideas of justice. Whoa!
these 4 lectures will provide you with all of the information necessary to torture your way to success. An additional lecture on torture will be provided if there is time permitting. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's get started.
Education is the key. Be as smart as you can be. You'll make the stupid people see how easy witch hunting is.
Montracer on education.
Education is the key.
Education is the key. Be as smart as you can be.
For those of you who may be stupid, this is your opportunity to fight back and get even.
Fight back!
Get even!
Fight back!
Get even!
Your education must include the liberal arts, languages, and religion. Your liberal arts education will provide you with all of the ordinary information you will use to justify the ridiculous irrationalities of witch hunting. Watch.
What a long nose you have! You must be a witch!
That's ridiculous.
It states here in the Malleus Maleficarum that in 1618, witches were known to use frog legs to produce potions of sorcery. Hence, long nose with warts.
There you have it. Learn as many languages as possible. This will enable you to spread your operation across the globe. England,
Witch!
Spain,
Eloicho.
France,
Le witch!
Italy. Very good. Religion is your most important area of study. It is imperative that a witch hunter appears to be a man of God. All successful witch hunting operations are run from the sanctity of a religious soapbox. You see, the idea of God remains cloaked in the supernatural mystery of the Dark Ages. Therefore, no one can safely question your actions if they are done for the will of God.
Like the herald angels sing, burn the witches like their feet. God has willed it so to be. Who are we to blaspheme?
Pray every day.
Though you may be thinking of other things.
There you have it. An education in the liberal arts, languages, and religion will provide you with a solid foundation for becoming a successful witch hunter.
Education is the key. Be as smart as you can be. I'll make the stupid people see how easy witch hunting is.
Montracer on, generating the proper environment.
Patience. Patience in this case is not merely a virtue, it is a necessary business strategy.
Just take patience and a little pre-planned scam to find all the witches in the world.
All good witch hunting environments begin with the slow process of corroding the education of the innocent, meaning young children, simpletons, and household pets.
Education is the key. You only see what we want you to see. Use superstition as the tool to train children and fools.
Children can be trained to believe in witches through the apparently nurturing technique of bedtime stories. What? And the moral is, ugly and deformed people are devils incarnate. Teach your children about other young children afflicted with fits after being looked upon or touched by a witch.
That was pretty cool looking. Jeez, that's 45.
However, make sure they understand that historically, rich people have always been the witches.
Don't want to waste time on the board.
Not more than 6 years of this education will turn your child and yours into a witch-finding money-maker. Remember, all it takes is one child to tell other children. The same technique can be used for simpletons. Befriend them. Give them food. Then simply manipulate their already superstitious nature. Beware of ugly people. As for animals, train them in peculiar tricks so that you may explain that the animal has been afflicted by the accused witch. Do not become attached. The animal will probably be hanged. In any witch-hunting environment, gossip is your strongest tool. Gossip is best begun in public places, for example, church. Use your specially trained children, simpletons, and animals to spread and confirm the horrid rumor of witchcraft. Here again, I must remind you that patience is a virtue. After all, it does take some time for rumors to spread. Remember, popular rumors are never misinformed. What have you heard?
The lady next to the man with the beard.
He's a witch! He's a witch! Ah!
Wait a minute! Who's a witch?
The lady next to the man with the beard.
Man with the beard, lady there. She's a witch!
She's a witch!
Bring her on! Bring her on!
Hey, it's the two in the front.
Come along! Here's another lesson for you. Never employ a simpleton. That man has no beard.
These darn rumors. It was you?
There she is. No, the lady. The lady. Bring
He's
her
a
on.
witch! He's a witch!
Let's have a warm round of applause for our first witch of the evening. Remember, it could have been you.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a rich witch by his toe. If he hollers, steal his dough. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Montracer on, targeting your victim.
Montracer says to pick the wealthiest witch, and you are it.
A reminder. Acquisition of wealth is your primary goal. You, the future witch hunters of the world, will acquire your wealth thanks to Pope Innocent III.
He's a paranoid fanatic.
Who else would you elect to run the world?
Thanks to Pope Innocent III and his doctrine, which states, heresy against the head of God is punishable by the deprivation of the body. In other words, once you have accused your witch, punishment includes stripping the victim of all property and material possessions.
Money?
Empty your pockets. Well, get it. Here we see why it is important to target. Here we see why it is important to target victims who are rich. And again, I must remind you, it is important to appear a man of God. You must make yourself the nicest person. Become the kindest of all people. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for being here. How are you? Are you warm enough? Good. I'm glad you're warm enough. Are these your children?
All of them.
They're all your children. What beautiful children this man has. They're truly beautiful. I'm sure you'll leave them a large inheritance. Thank you for joining us. I'm particularly glad that you could be here. Are you with her? You're with her? Congratulations. She's much better looking than the one I saw you with last time. Gain the trust of the entire community. Make yourself the selfless person that everyone wants to burden with their problems. Find out everything about your neighbors. Knowledge is power.
Machiavelli.
Find out about other wealthy brothers and sisters, wealthy parents and in-laws, wealthy cousins and friends. This is done in the interest of long-term planning. You see, once you have accused one witch, it is their wealthy relatives and family who will maintain the excessive lifestyle you deserve.
Montracer on, manipulating the ideas of justice. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
Book of Daniel.
Justice is always weighed in favor of those who are wise enough to twist the scales around their desire for power. Your advantage lies in the knowledge that there is no justice.
Is no justice.
Once you have accused a witch, there can be no escape. The law for witches is...
Guilty by suspicion.
Innocence cannot be proven.
This is because our physical laws cannot apply to spiritual crimes.
Jingle din.
God bless the man. Therefore, we must make up new laws to deal with Satan and his followers.
Isn't that great? We make the laws.
And we run the trials. During trial, an informant's identity is never revealed to the victim. Nor is an informant's reliability questioned by the court. Here I must recommend the use of professional informants, for it is well known that one can be extraordinarily imaginative when being paid.
I saw this man here. He was drinking milk out of a cow's udder. And then he jumped up over the moon and bit the head of a small bat.
Yes, well, that's a woman, but your testimony will stand.
Accused of being a witch. She say that you're a witch.
The victims must defend themselves.
Oh, ah!
Anyone caught defending an accused witch will themselves be tried as a witch's accomplice. Any person who interferes with the trial of witches will be tried on charges of heresy, regardless of class or rank.
He's the best.
You are now poised on the brink of financial success. If you have properly educated yourself, generated the proper environment, carefully targeted your victims, and sufficiently manipulated the ideas of justice, you are now ready to torture your way to success. And as everyone knows, the most exquisite part of the trial of witches is the torture.
Torturing is the final stage that will make them confess. You break their backs, their spirits, their will, leaving them in distress.
Mon Tracer on. Torture.
The primary goal of torture is to acquire a confession. The confession of accused witches serves to convince the public that witches must really exist. Without torture, there can be no witches. Thank you. The secondary goal of torture is to acquire the names of several other witches.
Without
That
names,
means
you have no future.
The only rule of torture: do not kill the victims during torture. Dead victims do not confess. You see, there is a system to torture. All true tortures must pass through 5 stages. Yes?
Torture is an art form.
The preliminary stage of torture captures the imagination of the victim and inspires fear. The instruments of torture are brought before the victim, and the effects of each device upon the body are described to the victim in graphic detail. The victim is prepared for torture.
This is a mallet used to crush the bones in your hands and feet. This is a vice used to squish the brains in your skull and make them go. This is a cattle prod that's also used on people. It's used to poke you so hard that you scream in agonizing pain.
We now enter the ordinary stage of torture. Of course, the most popular form of ordinary torture is the strappado. The victim's hands are bound behind the back, and the arms are slowly raised from the wrists.
Does this hurt?
Yeah.
Does this hurt? A little more. How about if I lift it all the way up?
What are you doing? Torture! Lift your arms!
Does this hurt? Here? Does this hurt?
That's better. Keep lifting. During ordinary torture, ordinary questions are asked.
What is your name? Do you have any pets? Are you wealthy? Are you a witch?
After this initial bout of questioning, some amount of camaraderie may be extended to the victim. Empathy is permitted. This will lull them into a false sense of security as we prepare them for the extraordinary stage of torture. Here, the concept of the strappado grows into a process known as squassation. The victim's hands remain bound behind the back, and a heavy weight is added to the ankles. The victim's body is then raised off of the ground, leaving the body to dislocate at the shoulders, the hips, the knees, and the ankles. You understand, I have no personal vendetta against you. I am merely acting upon the will of God.
Hark the herald angels sing, burn the witches like their fiends.
During extraordinary torture, extraordinary questions are asked. Describe the evil witch gatherings. Describe the evil witch gatherings. Do you fly? Have you ever eaten the flesh of children? Have you ever spoken with an animal possessed of satanic spirits? Have you ever had intimate relations with the devil? Name other witches.
Montrese there, but very good.
He's the devil.
He's a witch.
On him.
Well, that man's been listening.
On him. Torture. On him. I always had a feeling.
Well,
On the woman.
this is an interesting turn of events. I will now attempt to continue the lecture while being tortured on charges of witchcraft.
Yay! Come on, torture. On him.
I believe that we left in the process known as squassation, and so my hands are being bound behind my back. The weight is added to my ankles, and I will now be asked to confess to the charge of witchcraft.
Do you confess to being a witch?
Certainly not. I, of course, will be playing the role of the difficult victim, so that while you are all torturing, if you encounter such a victim, you will know how to respond. And so, the first thing... Oh, no! No! Oh! Ah! Oh! Ah! Ah!
His nose is growing.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
You confess now?
No! You only dislocated one shoulder.
On him.
Oh! Ah! 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 Ah!
Oh, great! Now look what you've done. How's he supposed to confess if he's unconscious?
He said to do it again.
Well, Montracer always says the best way to revive a victim after they've been put through the pains is to take a cloth soaked in vinegar and shove it up their nose. He loves... Every time.
Ah! Oh, God, that burns. Well done. Ah!
Do you confess to being a witch now?
No, not yet. We still have to move on to the fourth stage of torture. During the fourth stage of torture, we follow the exquisite torture of squassation with a myriad of minor annoyances. For example, oh, careful of the shoulders, this chair covered with spikes.
Push. Aren't you afraid, huh? Bloody messy, huh?
I have one of these at home. Allow me... Oh, yes. Allow me to simply explain to you all that some victims, regardless of the pain you attempt to put them through, will simply not confess. And so, a torturer's only recourse is torture, torture, and more torture.
Torture, torture, torture.
I never said this would be easy. Sometimes the hours will be long. No!
Do you confess now to being a witch? Do you confess?
He can't confess you. That thing shoved down his throat. Oh. Ah. Again. Do you confess?
Here we see. Whenever we crush the hands and feet of the victim, we always begin on the right side of the body. Simply an old torturing tradition. I will not confess yet. You have not yet crushed all of the bones in my foot.
Oh, your little baby Boop Boop, no! Oh, look, your little no, poor little thing, you know, if you confess, we can let you go. We won't hurt you anymore.
This is an example of bad torture technique. Never be nice to the victims. They might be trying to fool you. No! No!
Do you confess?
No! You broke my finger!
I broke your finger. You deserve it!
I deserve it!
Let's go!
What if we used the vice on you? Would you confess then?
If you squish the brains out of my head, I will be unable to speak at all.
Use it anyway. Confess another witch and we'll let you go with leniency.
Never exchange leniency for information. Torture is for the victim's own good.
We'll use food and sleep deprivation.
Right!
You don't have time for that. This is a short seminar. Allow me now to tell you all that if a victim simply will not respond to physical torture, you may rely upon psychological torture.
Like,
Burn his hair.
fire?
Not fire! Anything but fire! Here, panic usually ensues. And then, of course, the victim will confess. I confess her! That one there! I confess her to being a witch! And that child is definitely a witch! And that man there, he hatched all of these people out of an egg! Well, we are now moving along to the fifth stage of torture, which is, of course, disposing of the victim.
No! I can't pull hard enough to do it.
That's why he's the best. Remember, the Malefus Maleficarum on sale now for only $49.95. No, not $79.95, not $59.95, but $49.95. Act now and receive a free portrait of Montreser himself.
It just takes patience and a little princess girl to find all the witches in the world. If you are looking for a way to have it all, see right down Montreser, come to town. He is a man who knows how to make witchcraft go. Just follow in the words of Montreser. Good night, thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
An enjoyment to this night. I see people